What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first Beatles review on my channel in over 3 months. It's good to be back doing this series. I got the regulars Nick, Scott, and Jason joining me, and for the first time, Ryan Cam is joining the Beatles series, and he'll be joining for the rest of the Beatles reviews from now till let it be.
My ticket for the Magical Mystery Tour has been punched, and I could not be more excited.
Jason, how do you feel about giving the
Background information. All right. There's kind of big changes going on with the Beatles at this time, and with the culture, I think, at that time as well. The Beatles at this time, I think, were really tired of touring. They've been touring nonstop for since '3 or so, at least. You see a lot of growth, I think, in this album for a lot of reasons. One is just that, they had so much time to put into this album. And when you look at Please Please Me, it was done in one day. And I was reading that Rubber Soul took 80 hours of studio time. Revolver took 220 hours of studio time. So you can see they spent a lot of time in the studio, more than they ever have. And I think this did a lot of things for them. They're doing all kind of experimentation on this album that's never been done. Stuff like backwards guitars. They sped up stuff. Also, you see Eastern philosophy coming in, especially with George really getting into the Indian music with the sitar. And even John, the Tomorrow Never Knows, kind of has a Eastern, theme to it.
To me, the boldest thing about this entire album is that we start with the George Harrison track. That is Taxman.
So I really enjoyed this song. It's fun. It's a fun song, but it also has like a little cut of, hey, there's a lot of truth sadly interwoven in this, especially the part where it's like, if you take a walk on the street, we'll tax your feet. If you're cold, we'll tax the heat. Like so when listening to this, I'm like, this sounds a bit scarily true to me, but this is a great way to start off the album. It really sets the pace, and I really did appreciate that.
My turn. Well, I think this is, to me, the greatest Beatles song of all time. Let's get started here. The count it. The 1, 2, 3, 4. I love it because it calls back the Please Please Me album, where that album starts with the 1, 2, 3, 4. They start on it counting on that album, and then this is, to me, the Beatles' way of saying we're changed. We're no longer the boy band. We're no longer that generic pop band that will fade into existence after a while. We're making timeless music, and we're actually gonna go out there. And that counting, to me, some people might just look at that counting and be like, oh, it's weird, whatever. But to me, that weird counting is randomly one of the greatest moments in music history for that moment, because it's a sign of change. And I love that sign of change. And we haven't even gotten to the music yet. That's the crazy part about it. I love the "Let me tell you how it will be." Bum, bum, bum. There's one for you, 19 for me. Because and then the chorus comes in. Because I'm the taxman. Yeah, I'm the taxman. Of course, one of my all-time favorite lines in a song. So 5% appear too small. Be thankful I don't take it all. See, that's like that lyric goes hard. I love that lyric. I'm like, I know that lyric is just awesome. It's like, oh, I love that lyric. I love that guitar solo with that guitar solo. It wasn't even George. It was Paul McCartney, of all people. I'm like, wow, Paul McCartney, you are one talented guy. You're gonna hear me gush about it when we do the solo Beatle albums, and this is proof that Paul McCartney could be my friend sometimes. I think the Beatle harmonies are on top as usual. John and Paul did great on vocals, like backup vocals. To me, what I love about the song the most, it's like a fusion between the Who and the Batman theme song. It's, I mean, this song is just pure epicness, and to me, this is easily the best song on the album.
Well, you did it, George. You finally become a good songwriter. We had some all right songs. We had the really bad "Don't Bother Me." Started getting better with "I Need You" on "Help." We had the songs on "Rubber Soul," "If I Needed Someone," "Think for Yourself," and here it is, the first amazing George Harrison song, "Taxman." Man, what an amazing song. Yes, I like what Nick was saying, that the count in on this one is kind of signaling a new beginning for the Beatles, because we had just a straightforward 1, 2, 3, 4 on Please Please Me. This one starts with an experimental count in with coughing and funny voices and them playing guitar in the background. And you hear this and it's off-putting because it's like, what is this? Like it's almost elicits the same reaction as the album cover. If you'd only known the Beatles before, they seem like a very straightforward group. Like Rubber Soul had a few experimental things on it, like George Martin's piano solo on "In My Life," the sitar on "Norwegian Wood," but there was just kind of little experimental production choices. With this album, they were going all in with the weird production, and it's time to talk about the fifth Beatle, George Martin. I think George Martin is half the reason that the Beatles are my favorite band, because they would have all these just absolutely crazy ideas, and they would just go to George Martin and say, find a way to make it happen. And he would have to find a way to make it happen. So on this song, we got that count in. We got the lyrics to this song. I was introduced to this song through the Beatles rock band, and we had the microphone so you could sing. And so I was able to catch every lyric in this song, and I thought it was hilarious since the first time I heard it. And if you look at like what was going on politically in Great Britain at the time, they were taxing way too high then. And so this was George's commentary on high tax, and it's hilarious. Where it's like, if you take a walk, I'll tax your feet. If you try to sit, I'll tax your seat. If you get too cold, I'll tax the heat. Or whatever the other one is. But it's like, you just get taxed for everything, and it's really funny. And then it's like the last verse is like, my advice if you die is to declare the pennies that are on your eyes, because not even those are safe from the tax man. It's like, these people are ruthless. And I've always loved the guitar solo. Found out that it was Paul McCartney and thought that was really cool. It's interesting because the guitar solo, it sounds like something George Harrison would do because of the little Indian-inspired bit. But it's apparently McCartney, because George Harrison couldn't come up with a guitar solo he thought was good enough. So he's like, Paul, you do something. And Paul was like, I'll just play what I think George would do. And that's what he came up with. So, interesting story on that one. And apparently, Paul McCartney only did the guitar solo the first time. George Martin thought the solo was so good that he looped it again at the end so that you could hear it twice.
Okay.
Paul didn't apparently play it twice. Apparently, that was stuck on the end it was a conscious choice by George Martin, because he thought the solo was so good that it deserved to be played again. So, it comes back at the end. If you want to hear how the song actually ends, it's on the Beatles rock band, which is funny, because I thought the song ended the way it did on the Beatles rock band, because they make it look like they're playing it live, even though the song was never played live. Whenever they played it in the studio, apparently they just go, and you're working for no one but me, bum, bum, bum. And that's how it ended in the studio. But then they looped it down again with like, for no one but me, Taxman. Apparently George Martin thought that was a good guitar solo, so he stuck it on the end again. This song is 2 thumbs up. Great song for George Harrison. I'm glad to see him growing as a songwriter.
Yeah, full agreement with it. Rubber Soul said that Driving My Car was the hardest rock song they had up to that point. And they did one better with Taxman opening up this album. I think it's the hardest rock song that they've ever done. That guitar riff is one of the great guitar riffs. That goes throughout the whole song. I love that guitar. I love it when the bass does it as well. In that riff, yeah, it just really sets the tone for the whole song. What a cool rock song it is, and yeah, I love the satire of the song. I'm proud of you guys. George is really good at that. He really he is maybe the best humor writer in the band. I want to say when it comes to songs, he's good at doing satire and stuff. And if you know him, he was like a big Monty Python as well, and did put a lot of money into them as well. But and I agree. I think that guitar solo might be my favorite Beatles guitar solo of all their Beatles stuff. If it's not, it's between that and maybe Something is my two favorite guitar solos with the Beatles. Yeah, that guitar solo it rocks. I mean, I've never when you get to this song, I can't imagine if you're in 1966 and you get to this song and you're like, wow, I've never heard the Beatles do this before. Like they've done guitar solos, but nothing like this. This is a whole new level, in my opinion, anyways. But yeah, again, yeah, love the song. Great song.
Man, what an awesome way to kick off this album. I think it's cool that George Harrison got to open a Beatles album for once. It almost has like this funky little groove to it while also being a hard rock song. I think that's what I really love about it because the two blends make it such a distinct, memorable song. I love the satire on it. Like the tax your feet line I heard, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty funny. It sounds ridiculous, but it's funny. And then, like you said, the guitar solo, and this is pretty epic. Also, shout out to Eric Clapton's guitar solo on While My Guitar Gently Weeps. That's a stellar guitar solo in a Beatles song as well, but this one is pretty cool for sure. I'm gonna say it. Taxman is in my top 5 from this album. Is it number 1? Well, you're gonna have to find out. The next song is one of the more recognizable songs on the album. I'm sure we're all gonna give it high praise. Elanor Rigby.
So it took me a really hilariously long time to figure out that Elanor Rigby is based on a real person. Like I'm not ashamed to admit that. It took me like way long to actually remember, like, oh yeah, there was actually someone named Rigby that Paul McCartney found in a cemetery and basically wrote a song about it, and now it's kind of a monument. It took me a really long time to know that. But I've always loved this song. My dad used to have the Beatles 1, which is like all of their hits pretty much. And Elanor Rigby was the one that I would always like seek out because I never really knew like if yep, that's the one. I had no idea if Elanor Rigby was like a real person, but it's kind of like Penny Lane. You could just tell that like they were pulling from like real experiences and kind of creating stuff for the song. It's low-key kind of a creepy song if you think about it, because it's heavily implied that this Father Mackenzie might have killed Elanor Rigby. I don't know. I might be looking too deep into it. But there's
I don't think he did.
there's some foul
No.
There is some foul play involved. That's what I'm saying. But
No.
but I love the I look at all the lonely people, which is basically opens the beginning, the middle, and the end of the song, which I really love that part where they're all harmonizing together. This is easily in my top 5.
I really like this song. The lyrics are awesome. I don't agree with Ryan in the slightest that this is a murder song. Funny enough, in the original lyrics, McCartney was originally writing it as Father McCartney, but then he switched it to Mackenzie because he thought it sounded better. Which I agree with McCartney because even if this song somehow does manage to be about murder, I don't want to think about McCartney murdering anyone.
No. Try and run for your life, right?
Yes, fight for your life. Yeah, I enjoy the song quite a bit. Didn't make my top 5 because this album is so loaded. I love this song though. I'm not gonna because if you've been keeping up with the series, I have been bashing McCartney a lot on this series, but this has nothing to do with me bashing McCartney. I think the song's a fantastic song. It's just with the amount of loaded material on this album, it's practically impossible to do a top 5 on this album.
Okay. McCartney is my favorite Beatle, so obviously I'm going to like this song. Before I go into this song, I need to make a preface on why this album is so amazing. I think it's because we have 3 great songwriters on this album doing 3 different things. And each of them kind of blend into each other's songs, putting in a little bit of pieces of their own style into other people's songs. But at the forefront, we got 3 songwriters doing 3 different things. We got John Lennon, who we haven't come to yet. His song is going to be next. Oh, I can't wait to talk about that one. But he's kind of the more modernist, the one who's trying to break through to new grounds with tap into uncharted sonic territories. Heavily inspired by the use of drugs, avant-garde. He hadn't even met Yoko yet, but thankfully at the moment. But he's doing the real, kind of the more hard rocking, more with the time songs, and he's making people scratch their heads by introducing new sounds. McCartney is more of the traditionalist here, but he's also still making people scratch their heads because he's taking pre-existing styles that he knows are timeless, like Baroque sounds, or like show hall kind of sounds, and turning them on their head to where people will listen to that and be like, this sounds oddly familiar, but at the same time, like, what is this? And that's what this song is. It's a song that's played with a chamber orchestra, or not a chamber orchestra, a string quartet, kind of like Yesterday, except he's not playing the guitar with it this time. It's just McCartney and an orchestra, and then Lennon will come in with the backing vocals on the "Oh, Look at All the Lonely People" part. And then, before I get back to the song, the third one, Harrison, he's kind of doing some more Indian-inspired stuff on this album. But anyway, McCartney is taking this string quartet sound and then taking it to the next level by doing interesting stuff with the way that the vocals are recorded on this song. I know they played around a lot with the mics and like how many times they overdubbed "Oh, Look at All the Lonely People." He's got that string quartet, which it like orchestra music was used in pop music a lot, but the way that they use it in this song is just completely different than anything that I've heard before. It really just accentuates the point of this song, talking about people who you think people won't notice, like Elanor Rigby or Father Mackenzie. They're lonely people. They have seemingly insignificant lives, and Paul McCartney wants to point our attention to them and ask, like, where do they come from and where do they belong? Elanor Rigby is this lonely lady who I love the line, she wears a face that she keeps in a jar by the door. It's like when she goes out, when she goes out, she's someone she's not, and then when she gets home, she takes her face off and like it's like a mask she's wearing, and because she's lonely. And at the end, Elanor Rigby dies, and Father Mackenzie, who's the preacher. Like, he's a preacher and nobody comes to his sermons. But it's like, then at the end, he's the one who buries Elanor Rigby, and it's like their paths cross at the end. I'm like, that's really clever writing from McCartney there. And if you want to know something, Paul references this song later in Band on the Run. There's a line in Band on the Run that says, "The Undertaker drew a heavy sigh, seeing no one else had come." That's a reference to Elanor Rigby on this album here. But just a very, very powerful song, and it's like barely over 2 minutes. I'm like, they all really put a lot into this song, and it's not even that long. Like, that's how you know a song is really good. If it's not very long, and it can really leave you with something. Especially like just the way that he sings, the way that the orchestra plays in with this song. It's just like a masterpiece on every sense of the word. It's amazing.
Yeah, I love this song. It's one of my favorite all time Beatles songs. Uh, like you say, it's definitely a favorite of a lot of people. It's iconic. A lot of people know this song because of that. Yeah, chorus as you mentioned. Look at all the lonely people. What really makes the song is the orchestra. I think it's the best use of orchestra I think they've used with the Beatles. We've heard it with Yesterday. We'll hear it with like I'm the Walrus. I think like Good Night. I can think on top of my mind. She's leaving home maybe.
Day in the life.
Day in the Life. I love the use of orchestra in songs, and this is a brilliant. Just that bump up, bump up, bump up, bump. Just the way they do that, the violins and everything. Oh, it just adds so much to the song, and it's so unique that there's no guitar, there's no drums. I mean, it's the only song where you're not going to get any instruments except for orchestra, which is so unique. It's never really been done with the Beatles never done that before, and yeah, it works so well. And like I said, I think it's up there as one of my favorite songs lyrically. You just mentioned "Face on the Jar by the Door." Love that line. It's such a great line. And then Father Mackenzie at the funeral, "Nobody was saved." Love that line. Nobody was there. He couldn't give a sermon to anybody. No one could, hear the gospel message, or anything. It's such a great songwriting by Paul. One of his best, in my opinion, songwriting. One of his best all-time songs.
All right. This one is also in my top 5 from this album. I don't remember when was it when I first heard this song, but when I did, it was very special. I'll also highlight I love the use of this song in the Yellow Submarine movie.
Yeah.
Some of the psychedelic visuals that are on display in that scene. It's a really cool sequence in the movie. But again, great storytelling in the song, and I love how, it's experimental, but it's also very simplistic because all it is just Paul McCartney leading, the Beatles harmonizing, and you got the orchestra in the background, and it's one of the more lovely songs the Beatles has done, even though the lyrics reflect loneliness and sadness. And no, Ryan, I don't think this is a murder ballad. No, this is Elanor Rigby's a lonely individual that nobody cares about, and she dies lonely, and that's pretty much the song. And it's sad, but to me, this is the only good version of Elanor Rigby I've heard. I've been unfortunately introduced to a cover version by Aretha Franklin, which is awful. Don't listen to it as much as I like Aretha. And I've been going through the John Denver series on my channel, and he did a cover of Elanor Rigby on one of his earlier albums, and I thought it sucked. So the Beatles, Paul McCartney, keep Elanor Rigby to yourself in the Fab Four, please.
It's funny because I actually really like John Denver's version of that song.
All right, so next up we go to John Lennon's first track on the album, I'm Only Sleeping.
And it shows. This feels like this feels kind of like a psychedelic song to me. I don't know if I'm alone in that, but I was certainly like picking up on that. My recommendation to everyone watching is watch the music video for this because it looks like a Vincent van Gogh painting. It moves like one, and it's hypnotic in that regard. This would have been like my biggest discovery on the album, but there's another song that took that spot. It's a very good song. I really enjoyed it. It's a weird little tune, but that's why I love it. I feel like this was like the start of them, like they're dipping their toes into like what they would do later on with psychedelic stuff in later songs and albums.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Ryan here. I love this song so much. This made my top five. I think this is one of the best songs on the album, in my opinion. I think the experimentation's awesome. Right away, you just hit right in the face with this crazy psychedelic song. When I wake up early in the morning, close my eyes. Just right away, you're like, whoa. To think 3 years ago, this guy sung "Anna Go to Him" on the third track on "Please Please Me." Now on the third track of this album, he's singing this crazy psychedelic song, and that backwards guitar solo is pretty awesome. Love the technique used in it. It's really freaking awesome, and yeah, it's such a great song. I recommend this song to any upcoming Beatle fan if you've never, or maybe if there's anyone who hates the Beatles or like the Beatles are a girly pop band who never did anything interesting. Put this song on and they'll instantly eat their words.
Okay, this song is really cool because of the cool production techniques that are used on this song. The first thing is that this song was actually recorded in a higher key than it appears on the album, but it was slowed down. They manipulated the tape to make it in a lower pitch so that A, John Lennon's vocals would sound lazier and slower, and B, so that the instruments would kind of sound the same way. And then in the middle, we got this really cool guitar solo that sounds like it's almost being sucked out of the tape. It's because it was recorded and then played backwards. So it was inspired by, they'd already recorded the song Rain, which we're going to talk about later, which was a happy accident where John Lennon was drunk, walked into the studio and put the tape on the reel in the wrong direction. And he was playing the tape backwards, and he was drunk, so he was like, haha, look, it's funny, I'm singing in reverse. And they actually kept that on the Rain song. And so they heard that and they thought, we had John singing backwards on Rain. What else can we do backwards? And George Harrison thought, maybe I should make like a guitar solo and do it backwards. So the session for the backwards guitar solo apparently lasted 12 hours. It was just George Harrison and George Martin played in the studio, and they wrote the guitar solo the way they wanted it to sound forwards, and then spent 12 hours learning how to play it backwards. And then he had to play it twice, and he played it once on a clean sound and once on a distorted sound to give it a more fuller sound. And they played it both of the tracks at the same time in reverse. And that's what you're hearing on the final product of the song. It's like nowadays, it's just like, I'm going to record myself, hit reverse, haha, I'm done. But it's like, it's the technology that these guys had to work with, and like the sheer creativity that they had to have for this song is just unmatched. The amount of work that was put into this song, just amazing. I love the lazy feel to this song. I love the bass, like the bo 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 that McCartney plays, and I love the part where, like right after it does that, you can hear John say, "Yawn, Paul," and Paul goes, "Ooh." It's really funny. I love the keeping an eye on the world going by my window. And then like sometimes like the reverse guitar will just like butt in at random times during the song, and it's just like, this is just such a weird drug trip of a song, but it's amazing.
Kind of feels like this song walked so I'm so tired could run.
It kind of similar themes. John Lennon wrote this song because he had just finished what he called his Fat Elvis period, which is when he felt very tired and wanted to just sleep most of the day, and so he apparently wrote a song about just trying to sleep.
Yeah, he's written 2 songs about sleeping. I'm only sleeping and tired. I'm so tired. Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's kind of, yeah. You won't want to think that. I think that maybe because he was like, drugged out, maybe on LSD or not so productive sometimes, and he just lay in bed. That's my guess. I've never taken LSD, but I imagine John just like laying in bed, yeah, not wanting to get up. But I've had those days too. In fact, today I kind of didn't want to get out of bed. I was tired after working the night shift, and you're like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed. Something nice about sleeping in bed. Oh man, it's great. um, yeah, what can I say? Like the vocals are amazing. Love John's. Yeah, the way he sings the song, so great. I said before in the last album, in this album, Paul McCartney just like ups his game as a bass player, I think. And the bass playing is just so great. Yeah, you really hear it on this song. Love the bass on the song with the acoustic guitar. Sounds so good together. Yeah, and Ryan was exactly right. It's definitely psychedelic, with the backwards guitars like that. You definitely get into the psychedelic sound here on this song, even, which is so cool. And I don't know, I just love, yeah, lyrically, I think it's great. Uh, please don't wake me, please don't shake me, leave me where I am. I'm only sleeping. I know I love it because I like that. To me, capsulizes what I feel like when I'm sleeping. Don't shake me, don't wake me, man. I'm in a good place right now. don't bother me. I think he really captures that in the song. It's definitely one of my favorite on the album.
Yeah, this is another great song. Sadly, it didn't make my top 5, but still, really cool song. I like the psychedelic nature of it. I like the relatability of the song. No, I don't smoke LSD, and I never will. But the fact that the song is about trying to sleep and don't wake me up because I'm only sleeping. If somebody tried to disturb me in the middle of the night and wake me up, I'd feel like John Lennon when singing this song. And even John Lennon sounds like he's half asleep singing the song, but not that he's phoning it in, but I think it's intentional because of the lyrical content of the song. And I think it's absolutely brilliant. My favorite thing about this song, though, is the backward guitars. The backward guitar stuff I thought was so cool how they were able to, whoever decided to do that and put it on a Beatles song, especially on a song like I'm Only Sleeping, where I think it's supposed to have this drowsiness to it, I thought was a very clever touch. And like I said, not in my top 5, but it's a very strong honorable mention. It's pretty awesome. We're back to George Harrison next with Love You. Oh, click it. Love You Too.
Yeah, we're the first of many appearances in the Beatles canon of the sitar here, I would imagine. And it's front and center with this one. This was another good one. I don't think this will be in my top 5, but I liked it fine enough. It felt like kind of a bridge song of sorts from I'm Only Sleeping to there, and then it's like it ends like if you're breaking it up into like thirds or fourths, like that's like the end of the first one and into like the middle of it. I don't know. I suck at math, so I could be way off, but this song is fine enough, but it's like the next track that really caught my attention.
I really love this song. This is one of my favorites on the album. Didn't make my top 5, however. We're 4 tracks in, and all 4 of these tracks couldn't be any further different from each other. We have the rocker Taxman, then we have the orchestrated ballad of Elanor Rigby, then we have the psychedelic madness of I'm Only Sleeping, and then we have this Indian sitar-driven Love You Too. I mean, I can't blame Jason at all for thinking this is the greatest album of all time, because this reminds me of probably what I would think. I mean, probably arguably my favorite album of all time, which might be A Day at the Races, because that album's also that same way where the album just keeps going in different directions. I love when albums do that, because especially when they pull it off right, when all the songs are great, because you're making great music and it's also different from each other, so there's nothing boring, nothing uninteresting. You can't be like, oh, it's the same, feels like the same song. If you're telling me this song and I'm Only Sleeping sound the same or sound similar, you're crazy. Yeah, this is just another showcase of how great the Beatles are on this album. And I really like I just really like George Harrison on this song. I like the way he was singing on it.
Okay, so now we get to Love You Too. I'm going to be a little brief on this song. It's a good song. It's not going to affect my ranking of the album, but I don't like it as much as the other stuff on the album because I feel like this is more just the precursor to another song that's better than this on the next album. Like I like how Jordan's playing around with the Indian sound, but he does it so much better on Within You Without You whenever we get to Sgt. Pepper's. And every time I hear the song, it's just kind of like, man, I kind of wish I would be listening to Within You Without You right now. It's still really good on this album. I like the sitar used, but Within You Without You is a much better song in my opinion.
Yeah. So, and of course, talked about Rubber Soul. That's when we got the sitar on Norwegian Wood, and it was kind of used on that one. Maybe not the main part, but definitely added to that song. And yeah, this is like the first song where, yeah, like you said, it was front and center. The highlight of the song is the sitar, and we get a handful of those, I guess. Yeah, Within You Without You and The Inner Light are the only ones I think of that really like are sitar heavy. But we do get those with George, really get into the sitar thing. And to me, this is my favorite song using the. I mean, Norwegian Wood's my favorite song using the sitar, but this is my favorite where the sitar is like the main instrument because I really hate Within You Without You and Inner Light. Those are like towards the bottom of my Beatles. When I did my Beatles ranking, that was towards the very bottom. They're my least favorite songs. I don't care for the sitar that much. But man, it rocks on this song. I don't know how he did it, but he made the sitar like sound cool. And that intro is what gets me. The song is that it's an absolutely amazing intro to that song. That how it's slow and it builds and the dun 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 boom, and it hits you. Oh my gosh, it hits you. All the instruments come like whoa, like wow, that's such a cool intro to get you into that song. And then it just rocks throughout the whole song. And there's this interesting instruments I've never heard before that are I didn't even know what they are. These Indian kind of sound. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Never heard a song before or after that sounds anything like this. It is such a unique song in the beat. Most people would have no idea what the song is. It's one of the most obscure Beatles songs, probably in their whole catalog, discography, whatever. Songs, probably knows the song, but I think it's underrated. I think it's a really good song. And I even like the how George does that. Me, like it's really cool. I love the instrumentation and what George does with it. And man, Nick, it just totally nailed it. Four different songs, and they're all amazing. It's so cool, yeah, how they start this album with this. But yeah.
All right, so the first time I heard this song was also in the Yellow Submarine movie. It was actually the scene in the movie that introduced George Harrison, the cartoon version of him. And this like very trippy psychedelic scene where he's like obsessed with like Indian music and Eastern philosophy. I think he was getting into I think it was Hinduism around this time too.
Yeah.
So he was getting into that. But this is the album where you hear the full song besides the sitar intro, and this might be a hot take, but this song's in my top 5.
Awesome.
I think this song is
Ooh,
awesome.
cool.
I love the use of the sitar on the track. I like how it defines the overall melody of the song. I think George does a good job singing on it. I love the I think even the simple melody and how that like plays into I think the lyrics of the song. This is definitely one of the more underrated Beatles songs. I would say this would be my pick for the best discovery on the album, but there's one other song on this album that is even better. That's I'm gonna say is the best discovery, but I'm gonna say this one is in my top 5. It's pretty cool. Then we follow that up with Paul McCartney ballad. Here, There, and Everywhere.
This, spoiler alert, this is going to be my best discovery. This is a song I had no like real expectations of going in, and I love this song so much. It sounds so nice and so pleasant. I love especially the moments when the Beatles are like harmonizing together. I did a little digging, and I could have sworn that I thought this song was like about like weariness from the road. It turns out it's more of like a love song, which okay, that's all well and good. But I could have sworn like and the music video that accompanies it has the Beatles like going on planes and other things. So I could have thought like, oh, they're stopping touring. I feel like there might have been a correlation there, but I guess I was looking too deep into that. But period at the end of the sentence for me, here, there, and everywhere is probably one of the more underrated tracks on the album. I loved it so much.
This song is freaking awesome. Again, didn't make my top five. I will say I gotta add. I'm so glad that Love You Too made Jacob's top five. Glad that song gets love.
Yeah.
Going back to this song though, it's funny enough. When I used to listen to the Beatles channel when I would go to car rides with my dad and my mom, I would hear this song a lot on that radio station, Beatles channel. I know Jason knows Sirius XM, and to be honest, I wasn't as into it when I first heard it. It took me a while to really love this song, but through the years, I've really come to appreciate this song as a whole. And yeah, this is a masterpiece.
Okay, so in the last video, we talked a lot about kind of the friendly rivalry between the Beatles and the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
So Paul McCartney, it's made it no secret that God Only Knows is his favorite song. This is whenever they were making this album's right whenever either right when Pet Sounds came out or right before Pet Sounds came out, and they'd released Wouldn't It Be Nice if God Only Knows as a single. And Paul McCartney really liked God Only Knows. And the story is that he was sitting at the pool at John Lennon's house, and John had told Paul, like, just wait, I'll be out in just a minute. And he like had a guitar with him, and he started writing this song. And then when John got out there, he's like, "Hey, John, I wrote me a song while you were waiting." And it was this song, and he kind of wrote it as an answer to God Only Knows by the Beach Boys. I will say, in terms of the songs, I like the music of God Only Knows better. It's a fantastic song. But I like the lyrics of this song better. That's my favorite part about this song is that the lyrics are amazing. Just this beautiful love song. Some of the lines are just amazing. I like the descending thing that do 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 do. I like that part when the guitar does that. It's a beautiful ballad and really a great song. I don't know if it's in my top five by now, but I don't know. There's too many good songs on this album.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is probably the Beatles' best love song they ever wrote, and one of Paul's best I've ever written.
Something.
Something. That's true. That's a great. You're right. Something's the best one. But this is pretty much Find Something. One of my favorite love songs that they ever did. It's just so lovely, so sweet. I just love the whole song. I want you here, there. I want you everywhere. So lovely, so sweet. It's funny. It's funny when we're talking about, I'm Only Sleeping and Taxman and Love You Too. Really experimental stuff, psychedelic. Paul's putting out these great ballads in this album. He's like, everybody's like experimenting, and Paul's like, I'm gonna give you the best ballads ever on this album. And this is one of the best. Yeah, I just love the whole instruments. I love the backing vocals, the ooh, whatever the other Beatles really adds to the song. And Paul's just his great vocals from him. I think he's really killing on the song. It's again another one of my favorite Beatles songs of all time. No surprise.
Yeah, it's what makes Paul's writing on this album so good is normally what you just said there. It's like George experimenting, John experimenting, Paul experimenting. Most of the time I'm like, most of the time I give crap to Paul for that, but his writing and the lyrics and the music is so good that I'm giving him the exception on this album. And there's one song in particular that was so close to being my favorite song on this album, which we'll get to that when it's gonna be a while back, but there's gonna be a Paul McCartney song where it actually left me speechless when I first heard it. When I first
Well, I know which one you're talking. I can't wait to talk about that one. That one.
Yeah.
That's in my top 5.
Yeah, me and Scott know what we're talking about.
All right.
French
So
horn.
this was a new discovery for me as well. I'd never heard the song until listening to the album. It was actually 3 months ago when we were about to prepare originally before we had all the delays. And I think this is a beautiful song. I definitely see the comparisons with the Beach Boys. Like, this is their answer to God Only Knows. I will admit God Only Knows is a much better song, partially because I've heard that so many more times. Still a very well done ballad. Paul does a great job, his earnest delivery, singing these lovely lyrics. I love the backing vocals, very Beach Boys inspired. Is it their best love song, though? I think I'm going to agree. I like Something better. But still, really good song. I wish this one was in my top 5, but this album is so stacked with great songs that even songs as great as Here, There, and Everywhere just missed out in the top 5 for me, but still really good. We all live in a yellow submarine. Yellow
A
submarine.
yellow submarine. A yellow submarine. Yeah, this is in my top 5. I love this song. Like re-listening to it for this stream was such joy for me. Legit, true story. I was working on some schoolwork for my master's degree program, and I was in the library at my alma mater, and I was like humming Yellow Submarine to myself, specifically the "We all live in a yellow submarine." Yellow Submarine. And I was doing that for like straight like 5 minutes. So like, yeah, I love this song quite a bit. Underrated part of the song is when and the band begins to play and then the horns come in. I love those horns so much, especially with the video where you see like just drown out like the one guy. I'm pretty sure that's from the Yellow Submarine movie, but it's been a minute since I've seen the movie, so the name of the character there escapes me at the moment.
Maybe we could do a watch party on that at some point with me, you, and the other guys.
I'm down for that, but just letting you know, I hate the Yellow Submarine movie. As a big fan of the Beatles, I think it's kind of a slap in the face to.
Oh, it's not to enjoy it, but like it'll be like a good bad.
That and the Blue Meanies are just like the weirdest things.
Blue Meanies.
I must be the biggest fan of that movie. Like I really like the Yellow Submarine movie.
Oh,
It's
I
honestly
love that.
It's due for a rewatch for me. So if you guys are down for a watch party, then yeah, that sounds like fun.
I'll do it, but like some of the scenes are just a slap in the face. Like Nowhere Man, it's like John Lennon wrote that as a very personal song, and here we are using this song as the introduction to Jeremy Hillary Boob. I'm like, what the heck? Like, have some more respect for this song.
Well, he's a nowhere man, though.
Searching for his nowhere plan.
Name your character Boob.
It's all the.
Yes, that's why it's making me so upset.
It's all in the mind, you know. I love how George Harrison kept repeating that line.
I know.
It's all in the mind, you know.
George's character in that movie is the most true to his actual character. Everyone else is like completely different than that. Well, Ringo too, but like Paul and John act like nothing like they actually do.
I mean, if they acted like them, John Lennon would be this drugged up guy, and Paul McCartney would be this narcissist. So maybe it's for the better that they didn't act like how they acted at that time.
Mm.
And the Jets finally get a touchdown for once when it means little.
All
right.
Is it my turn to talk about the song?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm gonna be brutally honest. This is in my bottom 3.
Yeah.
This belongs nowhere near on this album. It's not terrible on its own. I think it's a good song. Fun. It's a fun children's song. But I don't think this should go anywhere near this album. It's this album's supposed to be like growth, and this song just hindering that growth, in my opinion. It's not going to affect the score on the album by any means, so don't worry. Still giving this album a really good score, but yeah, this song, I don't know. I love this as a kid. This is like a great song to listen to as a kid. But yeah, this song hasn't really aged that well for me.
Okay. So before I talk about Yellow Submarine, can we just talk about how the Beatles just look like the coolest people ever on the back of this album cover?
Yeah.
So look at that! Look at that with the sunglasses. It's like
Glasses.
it's like they look like the coolest people ever on the back of this album cover. Just wanted to point that out. But Yellow Submarine, on the surface, pun intended, since we're talking about going underwater, it looks like just a goofy little song, and then it kind of is. There's all this experimental like production stuff going on underneath. Like we got the sounds of the waves, we got the like John Lennon is humorously doing the captain and the first mate announcing, where it's like, "Cut the cable, cut the cable. Aye, sir. Full steam ahead, Captain. Full steam ahead, yes, Sergeant. Aye, sir. Aye." He's just doing funny sounds like that, funny voices. There's all these weird sound effects too, where it's like there's a party going on board, and apparently Mick Jagger's girlfriend can be heard laughing in part of the song. Very unfaithful. Also, apparently, there's sounds of a cash register that you hear as well, which apparently was later used on Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon album in the song Money. It's the same cash register, which is an interesting tidbit. I just like all the weird and wacky stuff that they're doing with this song. It's like they're not... The rest of this album is very serious, but they're kind of... While still being very serious with the experimental nature of the song, they're cutting back a little bit and just having fun, and that's what I like about this song. I like, Ryan mentioned it, whenever they say "and the band begins to play," and then the band plays, I like that. I like the little call and response thing they have where it's like, "As we live a life of ease, every one of us is all we need. I like that section, especially with like John doing his funny voices again. It's like, "Oh, Yellow Submarine! Ah!" And then at the end, they just keep repeating, "We all live in a yellow submarine," and it's like they got the marching drum. It's a fun song. It's a fun song.
Yeah, I feel like this is a song that probably gets the most flack on the album by a lot of people, and I like it. So it's like kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. I really like the song, even though again, it's so cool that the Beatles like did a children like song, children sing along song, and somehow it works. Like I don't know how they did it. Like I said, they did so many different genres, and now we're throwing in kids songs, which is so cool. And of course, this is mostly written by Paul. I mean, Barney song. Paul really is one who took the idea, and specifically for Ringo, because they usually had to write songs specific to Ringo's his voice range, because they knew what he was capable, what he was able to do voice wise. And plus, it's just a fun song. It really fits Ringo. I don't know. It got the right personality for this kind of song, I think. And it's, one of my favorite Ringo songs, probably. And I think a good performance overall by Ringo, singing wise. And I saw Ringo in concert, I think back in 2019, maybe. And one of the highlights of my life is getting to sing along with Yellow Submarine with Ringo on stage. That was so cool to be. We're all singing, "We all live in." It's so catchy. It works. And like Scott said, I think my favorite part is the John doing the repeat, whatever it is, "All you need." That part. It's so cool. Really, anyways, but yeah, I like it.
Every one of us is all we need. I wonder if love has anything to do with that.
Yeah. The interesting thing is, when I first heard this song, I hated it. I thought this song was so stupid and so annoying that I, at one point, said this was the worst Beatles song. That was long before I heard of Revolution 9. But for some reason, I just kept singing this song to the point where I'm like, is this song really that bad? Like, I'm really singing along to it. It's such an earworm. Then I listen to it again. I'm like, yeah, the song's silly, and the song is, dare I say, kind of dumb. Like who lives in a yellow submarine? Like, that's wild. But
All of us. We all live in the
yeah,
Submarine.
yeah, I've never been in a submarine in my life. What are you talking about?
It's a different
Is
world.
this a communist propaganda song?
I don't know, but I love the song. It's catchy. This is I think this is probably the hammiest Ringo Starr song I think in the Beatles lineup, and I think I love it for that. The guitar stuff is pretty cool. It's got probably one of the biggest earworm choruses in a Beatles song. The use of brass that some of you guys have already brought up is pretty awesome. Some of the goofy dialogue in between the song. It's a big earworm, and I'm going to agree with Ryan. This song is also in my top 5.
Wow.
It's so good. I think just for the fun of it. But then we close side 1 with She Said, She Said.
Yeah, this is another really good one. This almost came close to being my best discovery, if not Here, There, and Everywhere was also on this album. I love like the soaring vocals of it. The she said, like that just part just really got to me. So this is, I don't think this will be in my top 5, but that just speaks to how good this album is. It's like, I could almost make like a top 10 of sorts, because there's like, I hesitate to say there's like there's like bad songs on there. I don't think there's a bad song on there. At least that's my opinion anyway. But period at the end of the sentence for me. I didn't expect much from this song. I came out loving it.
Well, for me, I think this song's a top 5 for me. I love this song so much. I think normally I gave Ringo I usually think Ringo is somewhat of a below, if not just an average drum player. But to me, this was one of the few times where I'm like, you know what, Ringo, you did a really good job. This is like one of the few times I really give props to Ringo. And if you're listening to the I think it's like 2023 mix, the newer mix of the song, they totally butcher it.
Really?
They ruin it. I'm like, the one time Ringo does a really good job, and they're trying to basically butcher. They're trying to trying to muffle it out. I'm like, I hate that. But going back to the song though, this is an awesome song. She said, "I know what it's like to be dead." Like what kind of lyric? I mean, for 66, who was writing lyrics like that? I mean, I've heard some great lyrics before, but I know what it's like to be dead. And you're making me feel like I've never been born. And then the guitar work. You know what's funny is that whenever I hear the guitar part, the guitar almost sounds like a sitar. Not like a sitar, not like a totally sitar, but it sounds like something that a sitar would do with the. It's like whoever did the guitar was trying to replicate the sitar, but like it's not a sitar at the same time. I thought that was pretty cool. I know I'm probably sounding crazy right now, but every time I listen to that song, I think about that. I love the end part where it's like, she said, I know what it's like to be dead. I know what it's like to be dead. What a masterpiece to end off side 1. It's like, I mean, if I wish Yellow Submarine wasn't in between like 2 masterpieces. Like, you got Here, There, and Everywhere, this goofy children's song, and then She Said, I'm like, if Paperback Writer was in between those songs, this would be easily the greatest side 1 of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, I still really like Yellow Submarine, but I like Paperback Writer better, so I'm not going to disagree with that. But man, She Said. The origins of this song happened when John Lennon was hanging out with the actor Henry Fonda. They got high, and Henry Fonda apparently just like started.
Not Henry, but Peter.
Peter Fonda, whatever his name is.
I was gonna
The son of
say,
Henry Fonda.
Peter Fonda, whatever his name is. But they were getting high, and he just sat there for a while and didn't say anything. And John looked over at him like, "Are you having a bad trip or something?" And he looked over and said, "You know, man, I know what it's like to be dead." And John thought, "Write that down. That's a good lyric."
okay, now I need to see a hypothetical conversation between Henry Fonda and John Lennon high.
You know, man, I know what
You
it's
don't
like.
care about the facts, John. You're a sadist, John.
But anyway, the guitar tone on this song is amazing. That this the sound of this guitar, so good. Man, just the drumming that Nick was talking about from Ringo. And if you want to hear some high praise for this song, you can find a video of Leonard Bernstein, the classical composer, talking about how much he likes this song. Look it up. It was on a program called like The Rock Revolution or something like that, where Leonard Bernstein was actually talking about how some of the current music was actually good, even break down the music theory of this song. So check that out. It also has an appearance from Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys playing Surf's Up. That's the most famous scene from that program. But man, just a great song and a really rocking way to end the first side of this record.
Yeah, Peter Fonda. He shot it. He had his dad's gun and he accidentally shot himself with it, and the ambulance had to come get him, and he was bleeding really badly, and he was declared dead for a second. You know how that happens sometimes, where you can get declared dead, but then you somehow get revived and you don't die. And so yeah, he came very close to dying as a kid, and so that's where he came up with that. Yeah, and they're on a drug trip, and he brings up, "Hey, John, I know what it's like to be dead," and that freaked the heck out of John. It's like when you're tripping out on drugs, you don't want that kind of negativity thrown at you. It could throw you to a bad trip. And John was kind of mad at him, like, "Don't say that kind of crap." But then it's such a cool saying that John used it at the beginning of the song and throughout. And it's one of the best lines. I mean, it's the very first line. She said, "I know what it's like to be dead." It's like, what an incredible line. Like, yeah, because if you hear it, you're like, what does that mean? I know what it's like to be dead. Why would someone say that? What does it mean for the song? I don't know. It just sounds cool as far as I can say. It's just a cool line that he uses throughout. Saying that, it's a great rock song. Again, this album, just the rock songs are just a little bit harder rocking. The guitars are just a little bit, harder. They're just different, and you can see it in this song as well. Like, I love the guitar here. The whole sound of the guitar, the tone of it, whatever, just sounds different. And just the little guitar licks, whatever, throughout it, really, the intro, and then I know, and another great line, yeah, like, she makes me feel like I've never been born, and then like, oh man, that guitar is so cool sounding. Yeah, it's another just absolute great rock song, and probably one that's underrated. People don't talk about.
All right. Yeah, this song, I didn't know the backstory behind it, so that was crazy. This is another really good Beatles song, and I think you hit the nail on the head with that opening line. She said, I know what it's like to be dead. It definitely helps the song stand out. I've heard different opinions on who the she is. Is this like a weird romance that the main character's involved in, or is he singing about drugs? I wouldn't be surprised if it is drugs, because all the Beatles were on drugs when making this album. But if you do this like unconventional love song with these like two loner weirdos who get together, I'm like, that makes sense too. I could picture this song being played in like this quirky off-ball romantic comedy or something like that. I think it would work. But this movie, or not this movie, I'm thinking about movies now, but this song, it's not in my top five. There's some, what?
It's my fault. I'm here.
Yeah, that's true. There's some good stuff in the song. Like I like some of the guitar work. If there's again, like I'm Only Sleeping, it's very psychedelic. It's not in my top five. It's weird. I like some of the goofier songs on this album, like Yellow Submarine, over some of the psychedelic songs like this song. But yeah, I still really like it for what it is, and it's a pretty cool way to close out side one. But then it's time to flip the record and begin side two. We go from very psychedelic to almost a bubblegum like Beatles song.
Yeah.
Good Day Sunshine.
So turns out I had heard a version of this song in like a commercial somewhere many years ago, and I couldn't put my finger on where I had heard it, but I know I heard it. But when that first strain of Good Day Sunshine, I'm like, oh my God, I've heard this song before. Not this particular song, but I've heard this song, these lyrics before. And I can't remember where, but I know I've heard it. Point is, I love this song. Like this is the one that almost missed out on my biggest discovery one, but I don't think that would count because I've heard it before. Technically, sort of, kind of, it would have been a gray area. Regardless, I love this song. It's so fun. It's so upbeat. This will be in my top five.
As for me, I've said it before. I'm not the biggest fan of this song.
We know it's coming.
I mean, after that awesomeness of She Said, it's like, why Paul? Why? It's like most of the time when I listen to this album and I flip the record over, most of the majority of the time I go straight to End Your Birkin Sing. I think that's a much better follow up to She Said. Either that or put Paperback Writer as the second side opener, and you got an epic side opener. But do I hate this song? No. I have to be in the right mood to want to listen to this song. I do kind of like its more tongue-in-cheek sarcasm to it. You're probably thinking, why do you think it's sarcasm? Well, Paul was going through a lot of crap around this time. He was going through breakup. He was going through a bad breakup with his girlfriend, which we'll get to another song that kind of deals with that. And sometimes when someone asks you, like, how's your day doing? And, it's been a bad day for you, you sarcastically say, oh, just great. Today couldn't get any better.
There's a Phil Collins song we're going to talk about with the same kind of lyrics on the Duke album tomorrow, JD.
Oh, wow.
But to me, this is kind of the sarcastic, like, yeah, everything's just a great day. I love her. She's loving me. Well, we all know around this time that couldn't be further from the truth. So I respect it for its tongue-in-cheekness to it, because I feel like Paul kind of wrote this as kind of like a coping mechanism for himself. But to me, this is too bubblegum. I mean, this sounds like something that the Association would sing, and I don't know if I want to hear an Association type song on a Beatles album, to be honest.
I don't know. I really like this song just because it's McCartney taking a style that McCartney, I think, kind of saw the potential of particular genres and the timelessness of certain genres, and kind of picked those types just because A, he knew that kind of music would last, and B, because that's what he grew up listening to. If you look, Paul McCartney's dad was like in a big band or something, played the clarinet, if I'm not mistaken. But Paul McCartney was surrounded by music growing up, and songs like this are kind of Paul McCartney's spin on songs that he grew up listening to, kind of music that he was surrounded with when he was young, but him putting his own spin on it. Of course, the biggest example of that is like Penny Lane, where he got that trumpet solo in there. But it's just a very happy-go-lucky song. I love George Martin's piano solo in the middle. Very good. It just kind of makes you feel happy when you listen to it.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing I take away is it does give it's very happy. It's a very upbeat song. Yeah, it does make you smile a little bit when I hear it. I'll kind of be like I like the song. I love it. It's like one of the weaker songs for me on the album, but still it's a good song. I love the main chorus that and kind of harmonies there with everybody. That good day sunshine, very catchy. I do like the piano. I think piano adds a lot to it as well. The little interludes of the piano in there as well. And then the end kind of has a little experimentation with the good day, sunshine, good day. You know how they did that, which is kind of cool. But it's definitely one I don't go back to as much, but I don't mind it.
Yeah, so I had actually heard this song long before I heard the Beatles version, but unlike Ryan, it wasn't from a commercial. I had heard this song originally in a Full House episode. It was the episode where DJ was like she was into riding horses and stuff, and she wanted a horse, and so they play a cover version of that song because I guess they couldn't afford the Beatles copyright, and it is an awful cover. Especially if you go back and revisit that episode, it is so bad. But all that said, the original Beatles version is awesome. I don't know if I buy that this song is very sarcastic because I don't hear that when I listen to the song. I think this is one of the most upbeat songs the Beatles has ever done. Like it gets me in a good mood when listening to this song. The harmonies are so good. It feels like it reminds me a little bit of like the Beatles equivalent to that song "Happy Together" by the Turtles. That's what it kind of reminded me of a little bit. Both songs, I think they came out around the same time, where the songs are very upbeat. It's like a very joyful type song. And that's how I felt when listening to this. And I think the song's great. It's not in my top 5, but still a really good song. But I will say it's an honorable mention.
Yeah, I know Happy Together, it was in my top 10 favorite songs of 1967. Yeah.
Let's move into the next song. And Your Bird Can Sing.
So this one was one I had no knowledge of going in, and it took me by surprise. I really enjoyed this one. I'm thinking. I think this is outside my top 5. This might be an honorable mention, but I really do like this song. It's got more harmonizing, which I'm loving. So yeah, this is a sleeper hit on this album for sure.
Yeah.
I freaking love this song. much. Every time this song comes on after Good Day Sunshine, I'm like, thank gosh that song is over now. Now this song's on. So, sorry to the people who are big fans of the last song, but this song is just so much better. I don't know if it's because it's a harder rock song and I just like their harder rock songs more. I mean, I am a huge Metallica, Megadeth, and Black Sabbath fan, so that might contribute to that. But this I love that guitar riff. Tell me what you got, town there is. And your bird can sing, but you can't see me. But you can't hear me. You can't hear me. It's like, and your bird is green, but you can't see me. You can't see me. Oh. And then that guitar solo. This is such an underrated song. I saw Jason's video on his favorite album of all time. That video, I remember Jason saying, this is like extremely underrated, and I'll second Jason on that. This is extremely underrated. Like, even for Beatles standards, it's underrated. Like, when you talk to a Beatles fan, like, this song is barely spoken about, and to be honest, I don't get why. I think this is better than Yellow Submarine and Good Day Sunshine all the way, and people tend to talk about those songs a lot more. And I'm like, really? I'm like,
because they're good, actually, Nick.
I'm glad you like them, but I think this song's way better than the two. big songs, in my opinion.
Okay, now this is rock and roll. This is probably my favorite of John Lennon's songs on this album. Just do a quick look over. Yep, I can definitively say this is my favorite of John Lennon's songs on this album, so it's kind of mind-boggling that this song was removed from the US version of this album. Shout out to Yesterday and Today, though. It is on that album. But, man, what a just rocking song with the guitar intro. Like the guitar on this is just great. The two harmony parts. It's just a real just rocking song. Gets you going. I will say lyrically, I think this song is a jab at Mick Jagger because bird is British kind of slang term for a girl, and so Mick Jagger was dating Marianne Faithfull at the time, who was a singer, and so it's like you got everything you want, and your bird can sing. So it's like so basically Mick Jagger, you got all this stuff going for you, and your girlfriend sings. Your girlfriend's a singer too. Like what's going on there? A little slight jab at Rolling Stones, which the Beatles and the Stones would take little jabs at each other every once in a while. Not the last time we're going to hear that. But we got Nick's Rolling Stones series going on at the same time. If you haven't subscribed to Townsend 505 and check out Nick's Rolling Stones series. Up to Exile on Main Street right now. But great song.
Yeah, I actually heard the song when I was a kid. The first concert I ever kind of went to was a Beatles concert called 1964 Tribute. I was maybe like 10 years old, and it was in Branson, Missouri, and one of their shows that they have there. It was in the it was in the Glenn Campbell Theater. Was the name of the theater, I remember now. And that was the first time I went and saw like Beatles group. Man, blew me away because I was just beginning to be a Beatles fan. Like at 10 years old, that's when I started becoming a Beatles fan and getting to see this whole live band like the Beatles play like the Beatles. And the whole point was they're supposed to be playing songs of the early Beatles. That's why it's called 1964. But then they throw in this song, "And Your Bird Can Sing," in the concert, which I never heard of. Of course, didn't know anything about it as a kid. I was like, what is this song? This song sounds really cool. And it's cool about the song is that it's two guitars playing kind of simultaneously. That guitar riff, it has a kind of cool sound to it. I think is the two guitars playing together. But in the live concert I saw with the Beatles band, tribute band, one guy played like both parts on the guitar somehow, and I seen him do it. I seen him like on YouTube doing it or something, and I was like, man, that's impressive. He's like doing both guitar parts, like on one guitar. It's kind of cool. But anyways, but yeah, that's my introduction to it. And then I forgot about the song until much later. And I think it's on. I want to say it's on Beatles Rock Band, and I think I was playing Beatles Rock Band, and that song came up, and I was like, man, this song rocks. That guitar riff, one of the best Beatles guitar riffs. Like I already said, Taxman's one of my favorite, and Andy Bird Can Sing is also up there. My favorite riffs, like Nick was, doing that. Oh, so cool, and it goes throughout the whole song. It's a short song. That's the only thing. I wish it was a little bit longer because it's so cool. But man, it's paced really. I mean, it just zooms. I mean, it kind of reminds me of like I've just seen a phase or something like that. It's just like fast paced throughout. Doesn't take any time to stop or minger around. It's just, man, it's in and out. And yeah, the guitar solo, the way the guitar changes throughout it, and then the harmonies are really great. You get some really great harmonies on this rock song. So it's, man, yeah, it hits me in all the right spots. One of my favorite songs.
All right. So not only is this song in my top 5, this is my pick for best discovery.
Mm-hmm.
I think this song is awesome. I love the guitar. The guitar riff is really cool. This felt like, I don't know, I can't vouch for this or not, but this feels like the prototype for some songs Creedence Clearwater Revival would do. Like I got massive John Fogerty vibes hearing this song. Particularly the guitar riffs and the harmony work that the Beatles were doing on this. I think this is a really, really great song, very underrated. I never heard it until listening to the album. And again, this one's in my top 5. It's such an awesome track.
Yeah.
You only follow that up with For No One.
So I enjoyed this song. It's kind of one of the weaker songs. I think this one and another one we're going to be talking about a couple tracks away, I think kind of blend together for me, but I'll cross that bridge in a second. I don't have much to say on this one. I thought it was fine, but there are better songs on here.
Sorry, Ryan. I couldn't disagree with you anymore. This is in my top. This is my second favorite song on the album.
Oh, wow.
This is like one of those songs where it left me speechless when I first heard it. Like when I was a kid and my dad had the Revolver album, and of course we would listen to the Beatles going to Ranger games. Let's go Rangers. When I first heard this song, I was just left speechless. It's like one of those songs where it's like, whoa. You know, I gave Paul McCartney some crap about Good Day Sunshine, but this song always goes to my heart. You know, it's not experimental. You know, it's not even close to being experimental, but it's like one of those songs where the lyrics, the way Paul sings, that freaking French horn in the middle, just it's like all the makings of a perfect song. And your day breaks, your mind aches. Like, yeah, I mean those opening lyrics are just, come on. I love, yeah, I love this song so much. I love it to death. Yeah, I freaking love this song.
This is a song you have to listen to a few times before you get it, but once you get it, oh my goodness. This song is a masterpiece of a song. I like the Baroque nature of this song, kind of more traditional harmony. The lyrics, man, I can tell this is kind of based off of Paul's failing relationship at the time. But it's just like in her eyes, you see nothing. There's no sign of love behind your tears. You cry for no one. It's like, man, Paul, what are you going through right now? That's just sad. And you know, the French horn really just kind of adds on top of that. When you get to that French horn solo, it's like, this is just perfectly encapsulating Paul McCartney's feelings at the time whenever he's writing this song. It's that kind of longing. The French horn has a very ooh kind of tone to it, much like Paul McCartney's voice. You know, it's the French horn is very, yeah. I never realized how similar the French horn tonally is to McCartney's voice, but I can kind of see a comparison there now.
I love the song. It's one of my favorite on the album. I think it's one of the best songs that really captures a breakup happening. You're seeing a loved one not love you anymore, and it's heartbreaking. It's a very heartbreaking song. I think Nick, I don't know, he's saying this, and yeah, it hits me right in the heart when I hear the song. It's like, oh, it shoots me right in the heart. And yeah, as we're talking about, Paul McCartney had a long-time relationship with Jane Asher, who was an English actress, and they've been dating for a little while. And in fact, they were engaged too at this point. And so he was planning on marrying Jane. And I would say, if you look at like the songs written about, you know, Jane, I mean, he's written so many songs about Jane. I would say maybe the only person he's written more songs about is maybe Linda, but that's probably close. I mean, there are a lot of songs he wrote about her because they dated for a while during this time. And you get love songs and you get heartbreaking songs. In fact, the last album, I think he wrote, you know, I'm Looking Through You, I think, as he was in a fight with Jane, and he wrote that song. It was kind of a, you know, brutal song to, you know, sing about somebody. But he sings these type of stuff. And yeah, they were, you know, eventually going to be breaking up here, you know, because Jane was an actress. She had her career. Paul kind of felt like, you know, you should, like, you know, quit your career and just support my career, you know. And Jane's like, no.
Try to see it my way.
Yeah, yeah. And Jane's like, no, I have a career. I'm not going to give everything up just to be your, girlfriend or your wife, that supports you, whatever. And so that's where they really, I think, butted heads and fought and eventually broke up because, that's just the way it was.
Paul was also a ladies' man at this point.
Oh, yeah.
He hadn't met Linda yet, where he was like, it's Linda and no one else. And he had apparently had cheated on her because he said, we're not married, it's okay. So it's Paul's fault.
Oh, yeah, Paul had side.
Paul at this time is not the person you would want to be in a relationship, basically.
None of the Beatles. They
He's
were
like, I'm Paul freaking McCartney, and I can do what I want.
all the Beatles had multiple side girlfriends and stuff. I mean, it was just a thing. And you're that famous, and you're a rock star. What can you say? Yeah, this is lyrically, it's again one of my favorite. Going through this album, this is maybe some of Paul's best writing ever. When I always talk about Elanor Rigby, Here, There, and Everywhere, For No One. And you mentioned the lyrics. I think my favorite lyrics are some of the best ever. And behind her eyes, I see nothing, no sign of love behind the tears. Cried for no one, a love that should have lasted years. Oh my gosh, that is such good writing. That really captures that feeling that you have when a relationship is going down. And yeah, you look at somebody and it's like you don't see any love anymore in their eyes, and it's heartbreaking. And and it's a love that should have lasted years. You think when you're in love, you think it's going to last forever, and then when it ends, you're like, "What happened? This is supposed to last forever, but it's over." I don't know. It's just amazing.
All right, so I hate to be the bearer of bad news. This is my second to least favorite song on this album.
No!
I don't think it's a bad song.
Okay, good.
I don't think it's a bad song. I think it's a good
Thank God I'm
song.
not the only one.
But it's one where it's like, this is one that after listening to it, I struggle to remember a lot about it. I can say it's a good song, but there's others that I like way better on this album. And
You have to listen to it a few times before it clicks with you.
maybe so. I've only heard the song twice.
Or yeah, than you guys do, but yeah.
Like when I first listened to this album, like the song was like it's okay, but then like the more I listen to it, the more I'm like, like I feel like there's more to this song than more than it than meets the eye. And then like I listen to it, and then eventually it's one of the songs I listen to the most. It's like just the sad lyrics mixed with the French horn. It's just like, man.
Am I the only one who loved this song on first listen? Because I feel like I'm the only one who automatically loved it. And it's not like I heard the song when I got into them when I was in ninth grade. I heard the song when I was a kid, and I instantly loved it. So
Oh wow.
I feel like I'm the only one who actually this was love on first listen. I don't.
So for you, it's From No One. For me, it's Love You Too. All right, we're getting near the end of the album. Next up is Dr. Robert.
This was a lot of fun. I really love this one, and it's one of those songs that like it hits the gas and it just does not let up. With the Dr. Robert, it's just a bop. It really is. It's just a fun song. That's all I can really say about it.
I like this song, but I don't think this is nearly as good as the last song. I mean, you have this awesome Baroque pop song about a breakup, and then next song it's about drinking a special cup from Dr. Robert. Don't get me wrong, I actually do like the song, especially the fake stereo version on this album in the background, the one in the middle, Yesterday and Today. Fake stereo on that song goes hard for no reason at all.
So this is the song that immortalizes the Beatles' introduction to LSD when their dentists had slipped some in their tea when they didn't know it. Yep. It's Dr. Robert. I used to hate this song. I don't know why. It used to be my least favorite on the album, but like the more I listen to it, the more I'm like, no, it's a bop. And Nick already said it. I don't know why, but the fake stereo version on Yesterday and Today, I don't know what it is about it. Like it's just the mono version, but like with some echo or something. But it makes the song a lot more groovy, I guess. Like, you guys probably have no idea what we're talking about, but if you heard it, you know it. It's like there's some kind of weird echo effect that makes the song more upbeat and groovy. But yeah, Dr. Robert.
You reminded me of Bruce Campbell in Evil Dead when you just said that. Groovy.
Well, I was gonna do Austin Powers, but I decided to do that instead. I was like, hey, groovy, baby, but I went with groovy instead.
Or as Paul Simon would say, feeling groovy. Ba 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 ba. Feeling groovy.
Yeah, Dr. Robert. This is a song that usually when people do a ranking on this on Revolver, almost always this is the very last. Like everybody like really rags on the song like it's the worst on the album. And I never understood it. I really like the song. I think it's really good. I think the guitar playing is again great. Like throughout this album, these rock songs, the guitar playing is just phenomenal. And I think this has a really good guitar playing as well. And yeah, like Ryan said, yeah, it's a fun song. It moves really well throughout. My favorite part though is that chorus. And there's like a ringing guitar. Like the guitar has like a ring to it that I really love. And I love the well, you're feeling fine. It's so unique, and it's so much different than the rest of the song. It's a cool rock song, and then you get this really different chorus in there, and then it goes right back, Dr. Robert Band, and then it goes back into the guitar part. So I love how it does. It goes changes from the chorus, kind of changes the style of the song, and then goes right back into the main part. So yeah, I think it's really good.
All right. So people think this is the worst song on the album?
That's what I hear.
I strongly disagree with that. Now, is it in my top 5? No. Still really good. I like the psychedelic nature of it. It's got a good little earworm to Dr. Robert. Dr. Robert. I think it kind of like straddles the line between catchy and kind of creepy at the same time, because if the song is about drugs, there's definitely a creepy undertone to it. But
it's 100% about drugs. Take a drink from his special cup. He'll make you a new and better man. It's 100% about drugs.
It's the Beatles in the 60s, Jacob. What do you think?
Well, that makes the song creepy, then, especially if they don't know they're being drugged.
Oh yeah, terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, but
yeah.
Still an earworm though. I think I can say this is in my top 10, but it's not in my top 5. But then we follow that up with George Harrison's last Beatles song on this album, I Want to Tell You.
So this is the one that I was referring to that blends in with For No One for me. These two feel very samey to me, and like it's a good song, don't get me wrong, but this definitely feels very bottom tier. But that again, that's just me. Let's just see how well this one goes over, shall we?
I mean, this song made my top 5, but I don't feel as heartbroken because this isn't like a song that I'd say Taxman and For No One are like the two like real heavy hitters. If you would have came right off jump and said Taxman was the worst song on the album, I would have probably would have just left the stream. Probably, I would have been like, "Nope,
Neil Young."
I'm like, this is the recurring joke where I said this CD guy doesn't know what he's talking about with Briar. I probably would have been like, this movie guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, I don't feel as bad.
This guy.
Okay, in all seriousness, now I will say I love this song a lot. This is a top 5, but I don't feel as bad though. I do like the slow fade into the song. I think it's pretty cool with the. I don't know why, but I'm a sucker for fade ins for songs. Like when the song doesn't just start right away, it slowly fades in. They did it perfectly with 8 Days a Week, and they did it perfectly for this song. I like the way George sings it. I want to tell you. Actually, most of the time, in the early days, I thought his British sounding voice kind of annoyed me, but for this song, it was perfect. I really like the song.
Great George Harrison song. It's my second favorite George Harrison song on this album. Taxman is obviously my favorite one by him, but I like the piano on this song. Ringo's drumming is really good on there. I was talking about the piano just a second ago. Some interesting chord choices on this song. Lyrically, it's about wanting to tell someone how you feel about them, but not being sure what they're going to say if you do, and maybe prolonging telling them just because, like, you don't know if it's the right time. He even says, like, I can wait forever, I have time. I will say, whenever you have somebody that you like and you want to tell them that you like them, but you're not sure how to do it, the song hits very close to home. It's a fantastic song.
Yeah, this is another solid Harrison track. 3 Harrison songs, all 3 I think are really good. Yeah, this is a very underrated song. Again, I say that about a lot of these songs. I think they're all kind of underrated because there aren't the big hits necessarily, songs you hear on the radio, songs that people talk about. Yet it's still really good. I still think the guitars sound great here. George sounds great. Instrumentation, all that is it's fantastic. It's catchy. Yeah, just love the I want to tell you. Sounds great. And then the I've got time, whatever they do that whole thing at the end or somewhere in there, sounds great too. But yeah, it's again, it's like not towards the top, but it's still really good.
All right, so I think George Harrison is 3 for 3 on this. I like the other 2 better. Still a really good song. Very catchy. I also got to highlight the piano playing on this. I looked up who did the piano. It was actually Paul who did it.
Okay.
And it's like he was doing a jam session on the keyboard on this song. He was like having a ball on this thing. I think that's more the MVP of this song, more so than George Harrison and the lyrics. I think this song is more memorable than For No One. It's not in my top 10, or it's not in my top 5, but it's still another great song on this album. And I'm sorry, Nick, about the For No One bashing. I still think it's a decent song. I'm curious what we think about the next one. That is Gotta Get You Into My Life.
This one just missed the top 5 for me. I really enjoyed this song quite a bit. It's another fast-paced one, but I love how the song like ebbs and flows and it swells and the "Gotta get you into my life." Like I love that part. So yeah, not gonna make the top 5, but it's like number 6.
Okay, so this is another song I'm not as into on the album, in my opinion. Just for the fact that I think musically, I think whoever's doing the horns on it, whoever George Martin hired for the horns, I think they were extremely lacking because what Paul McCartney was trying to do was he was trying to do like a James Brown, Little Richard type song where he's trying to get really soulful and he's trying to get a swing out of it, but whoever was doing the music did a horrible job at emulating what McCartney wanted to do. This is like one of the few times where I feel like George Martin kind of messed up in the producing side of things. I'm not going to give him crap work because everyone makes a mistake. I mean, for crying out loud, I saw the first Chiefs game and Mahomes threw a turnover. So everyone makes mistakes. Even the talented people make mistakes. So I'm not as into this song, to be honest, but I do love Paul's voice. I think his voice really rocks out. I think I've listened to a only vocals version of this song, and if they would have had like the Wrecking Crew or the musicians from Motown, I feel like this would be like one of my favorite songs if they were doing that.
I love this song. That's why it's on my name. Not just because Scott is a good pun for this song. Scott to get you into my life. I love the horns on there. I know Nick said they were kind of lacking, but I still love the horns on here. I like the feel of this song, kind of like the big band swing kind of thing. I love his vocals in the chorus. Got to get you into my life. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. I was alone. I took a ride. I didn't know what I would find there. I love that. And then I love how the guitar riff in the section right before it gets to the breakdown is just Paperback Writer but slowed down. You get to the guitar riff and it's just like bow ba dow dow ba dow bow ba dow bow ba dow dow ba dow dow. Like that's Paperback Writer. That's I don't know if that was intentional or not, or if George just thought like he came up with the same guitar riff twice. But I like that they throw the Paperback Writer riff in there, and I like the end where it fades out real slow and like you can kind of hear him just keep like doing these vocal ad libs where he's just like every single day of my life, suddenly I see you and I tell you I need you. Every single day of my life, and then the horns hit the high notes. Yeah, you can tell I like this song. It's fun and it's got a great vocal performance from McCartney.
Well, I'm afraid this might be my hot take on the album is that this is my least favorite song on the album. It's a fine song. It's just, I don't know, compared to the other ones, it's just towards bottom for me. In fact, every time I hear this album, I forget the song is even on it until it gets to it. I'm like, oh yeah, this song is on it. I forgot. I don't know why. I always like, oh yeah, this one, in my opinion, and I'll see what Nick thinks about this. If I was in charge, I would take Good Day Sunshine and Got to Get You Into My Life off this album, put in Paperback Writer and Rain. And to me, that would have been like the perfect choice.
Yes. Yes, that's perfect. That is perfect. That's my perfect Revolver as well. I'm glad we're on the same page on that, actually.
I think me and Nick are on the same page on that. I don't know why. I would take those two songs off, put them on Sgt. Pepper. I think I don't know. To me,
leave Sgt. Pepper alone. It's perfect as it is. Well, no, Strawberry Fields and Pennyland. That's what needs to be on Sgt.
Well, yeah, those should have been added to Sgt. Pepper's for sure. Yeah, 100%. Anyways, but to say, I agree, the horns are great. Paul, great singing. I mean, when he belts it out, he's really good. Yeah, they got to get you into my life. Like, yeah, he does a great job there. I don't know why. It's just not one that I'm super crazy about.
All right. I do have this one in my bottom three. I like the song. I love the horns on it. Paul sings great on it. I love the soulfulness of it. It's just when I first heard this song, it was not the Beatles. It was Earth, Wind, and Fire. And I love the Earth, Wind, and Fire version way more. Like the Earth, Wind, and Fire version. See, Nick, you said the Beatles version lacked energy. The Earth, Wind, and Fire version has a lot of energy. With it being more, had more of a disco feel to it. And they really go all out on the horn section in that version. And I love it.
It's because the horn section actually had soul in it. If Paul McCartney had that backing track, it would be one of my all-time favorite Beatles songs. But as you know what, Ray Davies trashed on Revolver. For the most part, I disagree with him, but this is the one time I actually agree with Ray Davies that I think that the British musicians just didn't have swing. They didn't have the energy. They just Earth, Wind, and Fire's version is way better. For that.
Yeah, I think this version's fine. Like I'll still listen to it. Paul sings great on it. That's the one reason why I still think it's a good song. But the Earth, Wind, and Fire version is 10 times better. See where this one goes. Tomorrow Never Knows.
So this one is outside the top 5, but I still really enjoyed this one. I actually heard a cover of this song before I ever heard this one. Someone made a version of this song for the movie Sucker Punch, the Zack Snyder one. Don't watch it. It's not particularly great. Yeah. But visually and music-wise, I think it is quite good. The version of that Tomorrow Never Knows is actually pretty solid, but I do prefer the Beatles one. It's definitely leaning more into that psychedelic side that they were teasing, that they were not teasing, but doing at the very start of it. And so I think this was an effective closer.
Well, when you mentioned that one movie, I'm like, can it be that bad? I saw Freddy Got Fingered, so I think I've seen it all.
No, Freddy Got Fingered is like the 9th level of Dante's Inferno. Sucker Punch is at least like 1 or 2.
That's better, yeah.
Okay.
Now, I have seen Sucker Punch, and it's a awful movie. That was one of the few movies where I felt sick to my stomach watching it because of the subject matter and how Zack Snyder handled it was in very poor taste.
So literally the only thing that makes it halfway watchable, and I'd say halfway, is the music. Like Marilyn Manson did a cover of Sweet Dreams Are Made of This for this, which is actually quite good. There's a song called Seek and Destroy, which is very good. There's a cover of White Rabbit that I like. So the music is actually quite solid. Rest of the movie is garbage, but the music is actually very solid.
Oh yeah, speaking of Freddy Got Fingered, before I give my thoughts on Tomorrow Never Knows, I went to the record store and I saw Roger Daltrey on the horse on that album cover, and I immediately thought of the awful movie. I'm like, no, screw
Dang
this
it.
album, screw that movie. I'm never unseeing the things I saw.
I'm glad I didn't watch it.
Yeah,
Can't escape it, Nick.
yeah. Tomorrow Never
It's like
Knows. Though.
Candyman. It's
Yeah.
like Candyman. You say the movie's name 5 times and it just randomly appears.
Yeah, or Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
That's Street. Where is he?
But back to the song though. This isn't okay. You know how I said how John Lennon sounded so different on "I'm Always Sleeping"? How crazy of a difference between the third song on Revolver to the third song on "Please Please Me." Well, how the heck is this the same band that did "Twist and Shout"? The fact that this last song is the same, like 2 years ago, no, 3 years ago was the last song on Twist and Shout is mind blowing. This is really the same band that did Twist and Shout? No way.
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever heard that. I'm like, no way this is the same band that did Twist and Shout and I Want to Hold Your Hand. Like, John Lennon doesn't want to hold hands on this song. He wants to go all bonkers and stuff. And this song
And
doesn't
it's
hold
all-
back.
It's all a downhill trip from here.
Yeah. And you know what? I consider this, I mean, John Lennon his mind kind of goes downhill after this album because he just goes further and further into drugs, and Yoko Ono doesn't help either. So I consider this to be the downfall of John Lennon's mind for the 60s, which it's sad to hear about.
He's spending all day in bed as a protest. It just turns into a whole series of things.
Hey, if Strawberry Fields, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, across the universe, if those are downhill spirals, then I'm okay with that.
I mean, David Bowie recorded a freaking album and he didn't even remember making it.
I listened to that album today, by the way.
Cooper recorded 4 of them.
Who?
Alice Cooper. He after he got sober from alcohol, he then got high on crack, and then what is referred to as his blackout period. There are 4 albums where you legitimately can't remember ever making them.
Oh, okay.
That's crazy to me, but even though that's what I want to bring up is that even though John Lennon's mind went downhill, I gotta acknowledge that because I don't condone that anyone ever doing what John Lennon did. However, some of the best music from him came from the period. Do I condone you doing what John Lennon did?
Happiness is a warm gun. Happiness is a warm gun. That's all you need to know about.
No.
I imagine some of the studio talks must have been like, John, are you sober right now? Yes. They're like, go smoke and then
Just
come
watch the first episode of the Beatles Get Back. Everyone, like Paul is there all ready to make songs. Ringo is there ready to drum. George has a little bit of an attitude because like he's not Paul and John aren't listening to him. And then John is just like on another planet for the first episode. He clears up by the second episode when they switch studios. But the first episode, like you can tell he is baked.
Yeah.
I think he comes in late every time too.
pretty much.
Yeah, and he like wears the same clothes, and he makes the excuse that it's because he wants to have the continuity clothes for making the TV show. But all the other of them were wearing different stuff.
Yeah.
Having all of what I said, though, this is an awesome album closer. This goes to show that the Beatles are not your typical British invasion band, and that they're capable of breaking boundaries.
Okay, I have never heard a song like this, and I have never heard a song like this since I've heard this song. This is a 1 in a million kind of song where it's like, what did I just listen to? You got this drum loop from Ringo. It's like, he's kind of playing that over and over again. And then Paul McCartney's part of the song that he brought in is Paul McCartney was playing around with tape loops,
Yeah.
where he would record stuff and then he would like change the speed and just play them over and over again. So Paul McCartney laughed into a tape recorder, sped it up, and he's like, "Oh, that sounds like chirping birds." So that's what you hear when you hear that. That's Paul McCartney laughing sped up, or like the. That's like Paul McCartney talking and being sped it up. But then like you guys have all those weird sound effects, and then you got John Lennon like reading from some kind of Book of the Dead or whatever, and he's feeding his voice through like a rotary speaker, which usually is just used for organs. George would later run his guitar through the same kind of speaker, but that's kind of how you get that weird muffled sound on his voice in the second half of the song. We got more reverse guitar on here. And this was the very first song they recorded for this album. So that's how you know that they're wanting to change. This was the first song they recorded for this album. And apparently John wanted his voice to sound very different, so he sat upside down in a chair when he recorded his vocals. So he sang this whole song upside down, just to see how it would change the sound of his voice. If you look it up, you can find a picture of him upside down in a chair recording his vocals. I think he wanted to be like hung upside down from the roof, but they said, "No, John, that's too much," and they just settled for sitting in a chair upside down. But yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting. I give a lot of credit to like George Martin, and I think it's Jeff Emmerich, who's the engineer, because the Beatles had to come up with all these weird ideas, and they had to make it happen. And wow, that's incredible that they were able to do this. And John had this idea that I think he was singing like from a mountain or something like that. He wanted this distant sound to it. I think one of the ideas was that they're going to hang him upside down and they're going to swing him as he sings. So he'd be singing as he goes, but then they decided that probably wouldn't be very practical.
A John Lindulum?
Yeah, a John Pendulum thing. That was an idea. I don't think they ever did it, or maybe I don't know if they ever tried that, but I think they realized that probably wouldn't work, something like that. But they got the really cool effect on his voice, though. They did make that happen, and yeah, how they got all those. I mean, man, my mind is so blown when I hear the song. Even today, when I hear it, I'm like Scott. I'm like, I've never heard anybody do anything like this before or after. Like, it's incredible. I feel like some people maybe will hate the song because it's so weird, and some people will love it because they're not part of the. I love it because it's so weird and different and unique. The Beatles never done anything like this. I don't know if anybody did anything like this, quite like this at this point. It was just kind of revolutionary and like it was a bit ahead of its time kind of thing. I don't know. And you'll see, yeah, they kind of go in a weird way in the White Album. Or love using this avant-garde presentation in the studio. I think it's an incredible closer. I love it as the closer because you get to this song and you're just like, what did I just hear? I'm the first time hearing it, and I was like, this is the Beatles? Like Nick said, this doesn't sound like the Beatles at all. Like, this is like a different band all of a sudden, which is kind of incredible. Incredible way to end the album. And in my opinion, the best opener closer in the Beatles album.
This is the worst song on the album.
Oh, wow.
I did not care for this song.
I know.
I tried to give it a second chance. Didn't like it the first time. I still don't like it the second time. Which is weird because I'm like, you talk about John Lennon going off the deep end and being involved in crafting some really weird Beatles songs, and we'll get to some of them later on. I think Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds is a cool song. Come Together is a great song.
The Walrus.
I Am the Walrus. I love that song. So
Walrus.
I'm not saying I'm against like really weird, nonsensical Beatles songs. This one, though, I think it's the avant-gardeness of it. Hearing all these like really obnoxious noise effects while John Lennon is singing, it gave me Revolution 9 vibes. It's better than Revolution 9 because at least there's vocals and I guess some good guitar playing, I guess. But to me, this song is just like cramming everything at the wall, trying to see what fits. And it just comes off as like really annoying and obnoxious to me. What's everybody's top 5?
If I'm up first, then I'll give my 5. So for my number 5, it is Here, There, and Everywhere. Number 4, Good Day, Sunshine. Number 3, Yellow Submarine. 2, Taxman. 1, Elanor Rigby.
Number 5, I Want to Tell You. Number 4, I'm Only Sleeping. Number 3, She Said. Number 2, For No One. Nothing more else to say. This is a masterpiece. And number 1 has to be Taxman for me.
I'm actually going to start from number 5 and work my way up to number 1 because I have my top 5 solidified for this album. Number 5 is And Your Bird Can Sing. Number 4, For No One. Number 3, Got to Get You Into My Life. Number 2, Taxman. And number 1, Elanor Rigby.
Well, I'm going to say there's 3, I guess I'll give 3 honorable mentions. There's 3 songs that I absolutely love. I really wanted to get in my top 5, but man, this was a hard top 5 to do. There's so many amazing songs on here for me. But I'm just going to say Taxman, She Said, and Tomorrow Never Knows. 3 songs I love. Can't believe they're not my top 5. Those are 3 top 5 stats or songs that should be. But
literally on any other album, Taxman would be on your top 5. Literally any other album, it would be on there. But it's Revolver. If you're crying out loud.
I totally agree. Like the album, those are top 5 songs. But so number 5, I'm gonna go for No One. Yeah, like I said, great song. 4, I'm going with And Your Bird Can Sing. Good to see it in Scott.
I'm so glad it's on there.
Yeah,
representation.
Such an underrated song. It's great. Number 3, I'm going with I'm Only Sleeping. And then number 2, Here, There, and Everywhere. And we're kind of except for Nick, we're syncing up a little bit. Number 1 is Elanor Rigby. So
I feel so bad.
I know. We're gonna at least we got 3 out of the 5 so far, and we'll with the.
Can it count that I love the song at least?
I mean, everybody likes Taxman, so I understand.
Yeah, Taxman's great.
Number 5 is Love You Too. Number 4, And Your Bird Can Sing.
Awesome. There you
Number 3, Yellow Submarine. Number 2, Taxman.
Yeah.
And number 1, Elanor Rigby.
Oh wow, 4. Elanor Rigby's.
A great
Fist
song.
bump, Jacob. We are simpatico.
I feel so bad for not putting on.
Fab 4.
Hey, it's in your top 10.
I love Elanor Rigby. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, what's their score for the album?
Ryan,
what's your score?
Your score, Ryan.
Oh, my score? 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Well, technically, we're going the scores off the 4 of us, me, Scott, Jason, and Jacob, since we're the longtime series goers. So this will be the last time that a Beatle album will be getting a 10 out of 10 for me. So this will be the last time we'll have a chance of getting a second 10 out of 10 average.
Oh man, great.
I'm going to keep the 10 train rolling to 10. Ryan, I can only say if this is a 9, what's what's a 10?
What's a 10?
Is a 10
You
even
gave-
possible?
He gave Skinner's album a Skinner's
Yeah,
debut.
the pronounce Leonard Skinner, he gave it 10.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, even though
Well-
I will say before Jason gives his score, even though there were 3 songs that I kind of gave shade to, the
Yeah.
highs in this album are way too high. I mean, plus, I mean, I remember when I was doing the tier ranking for Queen, Jason gave it like a 9.5, but then I was listing all the great songs in News of the World, and he's like, you know what? That's a 10. There's just too many great songs. That's how I feel about this album. Like, I can't give an album with For No One and Taxman not a 10. I mean, Revolution freaking 9 would have to be on this album for me to bump the score.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know if Ryan was going to say anything. Or
Oh, no, I think Scott, you already gave your score, right?
I didn't want to interrupt Ryan. I thought he had a thought, but he doesn't.
10.
No, I don't.
I'm sure I know what Jason's giving it.
Well, obviously, it's the biggest 10 that you can give a 10 out of 10. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Well, I hate to break the streak. I'm going 9.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the only reason is Tomorrow Never Knows. I don't like that song,
Uh,
but the rest of the
At least-
songs are amazing. The rest of the songs are amazing.
At least it wasn't like Hats Off to Roy Harper that you said was so bad that it brought it down to 2 points.
No, it's not Roy Harper bad, but thank you all for tuning in to this extended album review, talking about one of the great Beatles albums. Share in the comments below what you guys thought of this album. Next time in our Beatles review series, we'll be covering another one of the most beloved Beatles albums, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I'm excited to dive into that album. Any final thoughts before we end the stream?
Great album.
We hope you have enjoyed the show.
Hey, you're Taxman.
it's not tax season, luckily, but
We need to find a
Oh,
yellow
well, when it-
submarine so we can live in it. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. You guys have a good night.